What's up? Welcome to the 9th episode of the Times Up Outdoors podcast. In this episode, John and Niko discuss their public land whitetail hunt in Missouri. We talk about the Michigan youth hunt and my weekend in the woods with the kids. We discuss the big buck contest, some big news coming up for Times Up, and much more. We had a little bit of technical difficulties around the 30-minute mark, so we hope you can forgive us, and we hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening.
It'll be all right. People like our weird, abnormal podcast.
Yeah, just sounds like
At least 4 of the people that listen to it.
Yeah, it sounds like shit, but we're not recording any phone audio.
Yeah,
so
okay, that's perfect. That'd be fine then.
As long as you can hear us, you're fine.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you, baby.
So you guys are on your way home already, eh?
No. We're roughly 4 hours out.
Yes, we are on the way home.
Oh, on the way. I thought you said almost home.
Why didn't you guys hunt tonight?
You know, sometimes you got to read the writing that's on the wall and realize that the severe chafing and the severity of the bug bites that are taking over your whole entire body are no longer worth the 2.5-mile walk to your tree stand for the fact that you're probably not going to kill something. I'm not kidding, dude. My legs look like I was shot by a fucking shotgun.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Dude, I've never had bug bites like I do. I'm not sure they're all mosquitoes. My back itches like a mofo. We had to walk out there in shorts and no shirt just to not be so sweaty that we couldn't stand to even smell myself, let alone the deer be able to smell us for 4 miles.
Right.
The problem with that is fucking scent control is out the window.
And it's worthless. Like, not even, you could smell yourself.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
It doesn't matter. You could shower right before you went out there. It's a 2.5-mile walk, or not 2.5, 2-mile walk to my spot, and 1 mile of it is in direct sunlight.
Yep.
Oh god.
No wind. It's and it's 93 degrees. And you're carrying, camera gear. We made our backpacks as light as we could make them, but you still got to carry all your shit.
Yeah. I've been looking at the weather just to see if it was going to cool off for you guys at all.
Nope, it's not. It wasn't going to. We talked about, if there was a day where it was going to get cooler, even 10 degrees, get to 80s, it would have made it worth it. But I saw one deer in 6 sits, and I'm like, this is fucking more.
John, you only saw 1 too, right?
Yep. I saw one doe, and it came in the wind. I could feel it brush my ear and go right into her nostril. There's no asking it. If you wear scent lock, you're sweating through it.
Yeah.
You could go head to toe with shit, and unless you, I don't know, because then if you do somehow stop sweating, then the mosquitoes are so bad that you have to run a thermocell the whole time.
Yeah, so your scent control, because I can smell thermocell.
Right.
Yeah.
The scent control is out the window. It doesn't.
The last night we walked out there, like I said, we had no shirts, no underwear, just shorts and rubber boots on. And I got 100 yards, not even 100 yards, 50 yards from my tree.
Yeah.
And I took all the scent killer wipes. I wiped my whole body down. Then I I put my pants on, walked to my spot without my shirt on still, re-wiped down, put my lightest scent lock shirt on I have, which is their light base layer bullshit long sleeve thing.
Yeah.
Rolled the sleeves up on it, and I was sweating through that within 10 minutes of sitting there again.
Oh my god.
You can't stop. It's just too hot.
Yeah.
There's no wind. I'm like, this is horrible. I wouldn't move either if I was the deer.
Yeah.
And they weren't moving at night either because allegedly somebody had put trail cameras out there.
I don't know who did that.
And they weren't getting pictures either.
Who put trail cameras out?
I don't know. Somebody was, allegedly.
Is it against the law to put trail cameras out there?
Yes.
Oh, so some guy you guys met in the bar?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, he had
It's
trail
cool he
cams
told
out
you about it.
Yeah, he was telling us all about it.
Yeah, he was
was
cool.
Like,
He was a nice guy.
You guys are hunting over that water? Yeah, I got a trail cam out there.
What a guy.
There's nothing to...
I know.
It was sweet.
Huh.
We walked the second day because we both set up what we thought was going to be good. We started over food. And then we were like, well, this sucks. They got to be over water. It's too damn hot. John found it on X, a couple puddles that looked like watering holes. They ended up being that. And we walked that day alone. It was 10 miles.
Yeah.
We hiked 10 miles. We looked it all up on Onyx to see where we went.
That was 10 miles. That was just the morning. Plus, we had to come back and then go back out there. So that ended up putting us right around 12 miles.
We scouted all 1,200 acres.
What did you guys hunt together, or you guys were separate, weren't you?
We were separate the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. And Niko, did you go back to the same spot? You were there. You went last November.
Last year. Yeah,
And
I started in the same spot. It looked great. It's covered in sign. Everywhere we went, everywhere we sat there was sign there.
So last November, you saw a lot of deer in that exact same spot.
I wouldn't say I saw a lot of deer. I don't think I ever saw more than like 8 deer in a hunt. I don't think the numbers are that high in that area, but I saw a lot of bucks and big bucks.
Right. And then this year, you
So,
just never saw. You set up first couple times right in the same spot. You said.
Yep, my first 2 sits were in the same spot. The layout of the land is a little bit differently. What they did to the crops and the CRP and stuff there is different than last year.
Oh yeah, because in Missouri
really
they like manage their state property, don't they?
Dude,
Yes.
that was the weirdest thing for me going into that. It was like we know we're on state land. It's all managed by the state. The weirdest thing that there was standing corn and beans and all managed. There's sunflowers and all kinds of shit. Looks like somebody planted. I'm like, what the hell? But no, it's just managed property. People just plant it.
They do it right. They try to take care of their herds out there. Since taxpayers pay money, they should do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
But,
Michigan DNR, take note.
Yeah, like they go out there, they mow paths and shit.
And the 2 watering holes that we were hunting they were the only accessible potable water source on that property.
Yep.
And so those were most definitely man-made.
Right.
Like they had a machine back there years and years ago, I'm sure, to dig those out.
I could have shot a limit of raccoons.
What about dove hunting? You guys never went and tried killing doves?
Oh, we tried. We drove for hours trying to find doves.
Really?
We drove to Iowa. We drove almost to central Missouri and north central Missouri. It was not a dove to be found.
I think we counted 6 doves.
Holy shit. You guys sound like shitty hunters.
Yeah, dude, we suck. It sucks. I think I'm going to go back in November. I really do. I'm planning on it. First week in November, I'm going to go back.
And I have to go with you because I don't like being beat. I don't like it.
There's big deer there, man. There's a lot of sign. We found a lot of sign of, like I was finding fresh rubs. Like shit, they had not, just started rubbing. I walked past the spot, and then the next day I came back, and there was a rub there. So there's bucks in there, but
yeah,
it's just
that's
not much you can do.
Sounds like a real humbling hunting trip there.
Yeah, we talked about that last night over the fire. It was it kind of brings you back down to earth because I went into this. I'm a pretty confident whitetail hunter, probably more confident than I should be.
Right.
And I like to think if you put me on any piece of land that has deer on it, I can find them. And I didn't. So it does. It brings you back down to earth, makes you kind of reevaluate yourself a little bit and realize that Mother Nature can whoop your ass whenever she wants to.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. So you guys camped out every night, or did you get a hotel at all?
No, we camped out.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's cool though. I mean, despite the fact that you guys got your ass kicked, sounds like a cool thing to do. Trip to go on.
That's what we were talking about last night too. It was like super humbling. It would have been awesome to get a deer, but it was a good time.
Did you guys sleep in the same tent?
Oh yeah.
That's hot.
That's super hot.
Nut to butt.
I would expect nothing less. Same cot too, probably, right?
Well, we would have shared a sleeping bag, but it was too damn hot, and I had to lay on top of the sleeping bag.
I was gonna say, you probably slept naked, didn't you?
It's pretty close.
Damn near. I'm pretty sure I still have spiders in my butthole.
The mosquitoes were pretty bad too.
Dude, really bad.
So
really
I
bad.
take it that's the last time you're going to Missouri in September, eh?
No doubt. I'll never hunt. I don't see me hunting whitetails when it's this hot ever again.
No,
period.
anywhere.
For any reason.
I don't care.
I mean, the youth.
I will go back in
it's not bad
September
in
if it's 75. If it's not 90, I'll go back. It was originally when I made the trip. It was like usually in this time of the year it's about 75ish.
Yeah.
I'm like I can do that, but no, we got hit with a giant heat wave and it sucked.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we started off the trip super fucking pumped, obviously. And I'm like, dude, I've never been out of state to go hunt anything. So it was my first trip. And then the day before we leave, one of my buddies texted me whose uncle farms in Missouri.
Yeah, about the EHD.
Yeah, and he said that he's like, oh, I heard you guys are going to EHD, Missouri. Like, yep. Well, my uncle lives and farms down there. He found 300 deer dead on his property this year because of EHD. I was like, oh, that's no problem. I mean, normally they just affect one county, and I don't know where he's at. He's like, yeah, he's right in Clark County. I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah,
Right.
that sucks.
That's right where we're going. So,
That's discouraging.
yeah. But either way, we hunted every inch of that property as hard as we probably could.
Man, you hike 2 miles in and out one way. It's you're putting some work in for sure. That's
Yeah.
a long. It took an hour to get to your spot every morning and night.
Yeah.
That's an hour-long walk.
Well, I could wake up and be set up on my tree stand in the same amount of time
Yeah.
and driving all the way to Brooklyn.
What were
You
you
drive
guys?
to my
What were
property.
you guys? What were you guys using as far as stands?
Climbers.
So we brought 2 hang-ons and 2 sets of sticks and then 2 climbers
Okay.
with us. We never even put the hang-ons up, which we brought those just in case we found another spot that we wanted to kind of do like a morning and then an afternoon sit.
Yeah.
But dude, you weren't dude. The terrain there is so unforgiving. In order to my first day, we just I wanted to just glass it and kind of get the layout of the land because obviously I haven't been there, and so I went through what I thought was going to be a fairly easy place to get to. In between these 2 crop lines, there's a little bit of island of trees. And I'm like, well, it's a pinch point. They're going to be moving through these trees, going to the crops, getting some food. Well, in order to get to that island of trees, it looked like it was 4-foot CRP or 3-foot CRP, but no, it's because it was down another 4 feet. So this stuff is 8 feet tall as I'm just trudging through it, trying to get to this lee of trees. And that was only a half-mile walk, and it took me 45 minutes to get there. So that was the first day. So then we just decided to go to the other end of the property, which was a 2-mile straight walk, but it was easier, but it was 2.5 miles.
Right.
So there was just no easy way to hunt that chunk.
Yeah.
And that's probably why the deer get big out there. I mean, the amount of big bucks I saw and the amount of how big a property is, it almost doesn't add up. But I don't think a lot of people are willing to make that hike and get your ass kicked that far.
Definitely.
I mean,
not.
there's
Definitely not. In
No
September.
easy way to get there.
Yeah.
Nope. We did not see a single hunter in September.
Man, I thought for sure you guys were gonna at least get one.
I was very, very confident going into it, but
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it is what it is.
I
You
pretty
get-
much
sometimes
lost
you
all
lose.
faith in you. I mean, I used to think you were something special.
I know. I really wish I was sitting on the couch right next to you talking to us shit about the same thing. Piece of shit. Over here, I've got bug bites on places that are supposed to be private.
Yeah, dude, you just try to poop in the woods while being carried away by mosquitoes.
Was there a lot of ticks?
No ticks.
We didn't see a single tick.
Unless they're embedded in my asshole, I have not seen one.
Yeah.
I think.
Just have John
I think
check for you.
I think the only reason there's no ticks is because for every 1 tick, there are 3 spiders that are the size of my fist.
Dude, there are some giant spiders out there.
Really?
So
We got a video of a couple of them.
one of the other, okay, so what was it, second night? So we do the morning sit, or the afternoon. Yeah, no, we did the afternoon sit and then the morning sit. And then that second day when we were going back there for the evening, we're like, hell, we're going to go to the south end there's another place where you can park and go in at. Which is a half mile. It was a half mile closer to where we were, but it was still, 2 miles away. And there's a trail that goes right through the woods. I mean, it's like canopied. It looks like The Shining. And you just walk straight down it. But it was pretty high. The trail hasn't been groomed, so it was still pretty tall. Which wasn't bad on the way in, but while you were sitting for the 3-4 hours that you were sitting and then go to come out, the spiders at night decide to build these giant webs across the whole thing. And so, dude, it's honestly like you would need a blowtorch to get through that without getting a face full of orb weavers.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
we had our headlamps on just so we could avoid walking face first into a chest-sized spider web. And they're not little spindly webs either. These are big-ass spiders.
Yeah,
they
like-
make thick, big-ass
like
webs,
dense
man.
webs that'll like pull you.
Yeah.
Like if you ran
You
into
feel
them.
it tugging on you.
Predators.
We're like crawling under webs and going around them and shit.
Uh,
It was terrifying.
Now you guys were going out every morning and every evening, right? You guys
Yep.
you went out in the dark in the morning?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yep.
if you guys were like only hunting evenings or what.
I think I was originally thinking about doing that just because, you don't want to bump them off the food and stuff, but you can sneak out there real easy because it's all CRP. and it's all 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
So as long as you can move quiet, and the bugs, I don't know what they are, if they're cicadas or what they are so loud, like deafening loud, that you could jog out to your stand.
No shit.
Yeah,
So-
the sound isn't an issue. It's just a scent. Because by the time you get out there, you smell like a fucking locker room. And
What? So you guys were wearing? What were you wearing? Is that like lightweight shit?
The lightest scent lock that you can buy.
The Savannah stuff.
How'd that Savannah suit fare for you, Nico? Because I wore that this weekend too.
John wore the Savannah suit. I wore the base layer shirt,
Okay.
the lightest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Savannah pants and coat on, which was
Too much.
Yeah, I had the Savannah pants.
I mean, no, well, it's as light as it gets. That's the
Yeah,
lightest
it's
thing,
too
and
much.
it's too much.
Yeah,
You couldn't
I
wear
was
it out
wearing
there.
The Savannah pants, Savannah rain pants, and then my lightweight base layer on top this weekend because it was kind of, I don't want to say it was hot here because you guys were in the devil's asshole, but we, it was warm up here, so I didn't wear my
How hot
jacket.
was it up there?
What's that?
How hot was it in Michigan?
Sunday it was like 78, I think, over on the west side. Sunday morning it rained a little bit, so it was a little bit cooler. Saturday evening it was a little bit cooler, but I mean it was in the 70s.
That's still pretty warm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice though. I mean it wasn't bad. It rained on me and Austin a little bit Sunday morning, but I just threw that jacket on when it started to rain. It like downpoured for a minute and then it stopped.
That's good weather for the kids.
Yeah. Well, and we hunted in cover blind with the girls, and then I hunted. Austin sat in a tree, and well, we switched it up a little bit. We switched it up. You guys want to talk about my weekend since you guys couldn't?
Yeah,
couldn't-
ours sucked.
couldn't
Let's
figure
go.
out how to
I want to
get
hear
a deer
about
on the ground?
something dying.
Yeah, dying stories sound way cooler.
What's that?
Dying stories sound way cooler than us suffering.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, while you guys were out there suffering and not killing deer, I was just fucking laying them down.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know who's the better hunter here.
Well, not
The kids,
you.
apparently.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You didn't
Addie,
shoot
Austin,
shit.
and Aubrey.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, it was a good weekend. Got the girls out of school early. Went up Friday. Sat in traffic. It took me a 2-hour drive. Took me 4.5 hours to get there.
And this is out on the west side, not in.
Yeah, no,
not
I
in
took them to
Marshall,
my
right?
dad's just because.
Oh, for sure.
Well, let's be honest. I didn't want to take them to
Yeah.
my lease and let them shoot.
No, exactly. Don't bang them out.
Yeah, you got to earn a buck like that. You don't get to just go
Yeah,
shoot
there's
out
too many
there.
big bucks walking around that lease. But aside from that, the real reason I take them to my dad's is just because it's Grandpa's house. It's where I grew up hunting. We do breakfast and hang out and do family, and it's that whole experience to me is better than going to the lease is kind of just about me, With
no doubt.
with
Well,
the
then-
kids, it's like I even during the season I struggle.
Yeah.
I fight with myself about hunting the lease because I know that's where I got a high chance of getting a big buck, but I want to go out to my dad's because it's the family aspect. My dad's there. I have friends out there that I grew up hunting with, so I kind of always that small town kind of feeling. I don't know anybody in Marshall, so I kind of like lose out on that. But yeah, so that's the reason why I took them there, and we got a nice covered blind that the girls like sitting in, and all that. So took them out Friday, got there Friday night late, set up our camper, had dinner, and then I had to pick up Austin too I got all the kids out of school early because Austin's football practice got canceled. I forgot about that. Anyways, we went out Saturday morning. I went out with the two girls, and Austin went out with with my dad. They went and sat on the other side of the woods where I always hunted as a kid, and then I sat in my what used to be my stepmom's blind, and with the girls, which is like an old tin blind that makes all kinds of noise when you move around. There's carpet on the floor, but I mean, if you bump the wall, it's like doom doom, like it just echoes. The windows don't really want to open as good as they used to, but whatever. We used to bait in that spot. There's a feeder that's down there, but We took the feeder down just because there's no baiting this year, but it's still a main, like, there's a couple trails, a couple deer runs that have been there since I was a kid, and the deer travel right through there no matter what, because the guy to the east of us has quite a food plot over there. So we usually have good luck there no matter what. But we sat, as soon as it started getting light, man, we had deer all around us. I mean, literally all around us, and not far from us. They were all like real close, tight to us. So I'm stuffed in this blind with two girls, and I got that phone scope thing for Aubrey, and I can't get it to work. It won't. I can't see anything through the scope on it. So I'm looking through the scope, and you can see it's bright enough to shoot, and it's legal shooting hours. So I'm like, I asked her, I said, where do you shoot the deer on the body? And she said, follow the leg and go right behind it. I said, okay, you got it. She goes, okay. So I put the gun out of the window, and there was a deer probably 20 yards from us, broadside, and she pulls the trigger, and it just kind of jumped a little bit and then stood there. And all the deer that were around us didn't go anywhere either. They all hung out. So I'm like, what the hell? So the deer walks to our blind and then stands 10 feet from it to the left of us, but we couldn't get the gun out that window because the window wouldn't open all the way. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, we just got to wait and see. Maybe one of them will come back out in front of us. Well, they all leave, and then we sat for about another hour, and Aubrey said she wanted to go in. I said, are you sure? And she said, well, let's sit out another half hour. I said, all right, cool. So like 10 minutes later, a doe and two fawns comes walking in right in front of the blind. It was about 9:15. And now I got the phone scope back on, and it's working now, so I can see where she's aiming. And she put the crosshairs right on that deer's shoulder, and I was filming it, but I was paying more attention to her, to where she was shooting.
Right.
So I got it on camera, but it's not that it's I got to look at it on the computer. I haven't even looked at it yet, other than on the phone or on the computer or camera itself. But she hit it, it jumped, took off running, and it dropped about 40 yards away, and they both saw it go down. So they were like, Addie was like, she saw it go down out the side window, and, she was like, you did it. It was super cool. Aubrey was freaking pumped up. Like, they couldn't wait to get out of the blind and go see it. Like, I had to argue with them about not getting out of the blind right away. Two girls want to just argue about everything.
All right.
So we waited about a half hour and went and found it. So that was cool. Meanwhile, Austin's on the other side of the woods passing a 4-point that was still in velvet, which is cool. I wouldn't have minded if he shot it, but he didn't want to, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was proud of him. That's cool. So she got that. We took it back to the house and skinned it up, quartered it up right away, and then I went out with Austin that evening. I sat in my saddle in a tree about 10 feet from him and filmed him, and then we had that same 4-point came through, and he passed it again, and then that was it. The next morning we went out, we sat in the same spot, didn't see a deer, and then the afternoon I was like, you know what, I got a plan. We see a lot of deer on the west field, west of our property, and we got permission to shoot them on that field. We don't own it, but we have permission to kill deer on there. And nobody else was hunting it. The guys on the other side of the field weren't out there for the youth hunt. So I decided we're going to set up a ground blind on the field edge. And I had it in my head the whole time that if we don't get the deer coming in close enough to us, we're going to try to stalk one. But I didn't know if we were going to have to. So I told Austin, I said, I'm taking a shower, go in the barn, get one of the pop-up doghouse blinds and 2 chairs. And he said, what are we going to do? What are we doing? I said, we're going to fucking kill a deer tonight. He said, okay. So he went out, got the stuff ready, and we hiked out there and set up the little ground blind. No deer anywhere near us for like 2 or 3 hours. And finally they start popping out way on the other side of the field. And now it's a pretty hilly field. So he's ranging them, and he's like, they're like 600 yards away. So we're watching them, and I'm like, all right. I said, can you army crawl? He goes, yeah. was like, all right, let's go get one. He's like, really? I'm like, yep, come on. So we climbed out of the blind. He had his gun, I had the camera, and left everything back, and we took the next, it took us probably 45 minutes to get across this field, because we had to army crawl on the tops of the hills, and then we could kind of duck walk when we were down in the valleys. And then we got into one valley, and there was another deer that we didn't see real close to us, grazing. So we had to wait for that deer to get out of sight from us, and then we keep going, and we'd get to the top of the hill, and these deer would still be there, and we'd go down to the next valley and go up the next hill and crawl up and look, and they'd be there. And at one point, something spooked them, and they all started running. So I'm like, damn, we just wasted all this time, and they're gone now. Well, they stopped, and I told them, I'm like, they stopped on the other side of the hill that we were coming up to. So we made a quick plan. It was cool. Austin even, he like contributed to it too. He was like, I think if we go this way, you know, he had his hand in the plan too. It wasn't just me telling him what to do, which was pretty cool to see. And then, so we popped out on the top of this hill, and they were right there where we thought they'd be. And we were laying on the ground, and I was kind of on my knees behind these little bushes. They didn't plant the field this year, so it's all weeds.
Yeah.
So they're out there probably 40 yards, 50 yards from us. And I said, you pick the biggest one. He's like 10, 15 feet away from me. I said, pick the biggest one and take her. And so he's like, all right, I got one. It's in the one in the middle. It's the one in the middle. I'm like, all right. I'm like, and then it turned, and it was facing us. So he's waiting for it. And then it turns broadside. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Shoot her. And you can hear me, and you can hear him whispering something, but you can't really hear what he's saying. And he's like, but I could hear him. He was like, I can't see it. So he starts crawling forward, and these fawns start playing with each other, and they're running right at us, like directly at us. I'm like, dude, this deer are running at us. You need to kill this deer right now. We're going to get busted. So I'm waiting. Finally, boom. When he shot, it scared me a little bit. I jumped, but I got the deer. I got the kill shot in the camera. She took off running, blood spurting out everywhere, and she ran probably at 75 yards.
He put a nice heart shot on that thing.
Yeah, he did. It was a good shot. It was a little bit back, but the deer was quartering away, so it was almost perfect because it went in and it came out like right behind the front shoulder on the other side.
Was it
Perfect?
What was it when he got it out? Was it heart?
Lungs.
Lungs?
Yeah.
Double lung? Didn't even touch the heart, eh?
Didn't touch the heart.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
Ciao.
yeah, man. So we waited. We sat there we laid there on the ground. He couldn't. He's like, I can't hear you. I'm like, dude, awesome. That was an awesome shot. He's like, I can't hear what you're saying. He's like, I forgot how loud that gun is.
So that's two.
So yeah, so we went and found it. It went into like this little island. It's like in a valley, and it's like, you know, some pretty mature trees, and then part of it's a bunch of trees, and then the rest of it's all like tall cattails and like olive. What's that olive? What's that called? Whatever, those little trees, those little canopy trees. So I went into it, and I had him circle around in case it got up and ran. Because now he had school the next morning, so now I'm like, we got to get this thing out. All right, so we're back. We just recorded an entire hour, and only a half hour of it played. So a brief break there, and now we have to redo the last half of it because we only got 30 minutes of it. For some reason, my camera stopped recording at the 30-minute mark and didn't switch over to the other card. So what were we talking about? We were talking about Austin's deer when it.
You were talking about
You
Austin.
were just pulling it out of the island.
Yeah. So long story short, we by the time we were done pulling it out of there, it was like 80 degrees out, and took it to my dad's garage, and my dad took it to the processor because it was too hot to hang it, and we went home because the kid had school in the morning. And it seems like he always shoots a deer on a night where he's got school the next day, and we shoot it the last minute, and we gotta like rush our asses home. But that was successful with him.
At least you made him get in there and gut this thing.
Oh
right?
yeah, I
Or
did. He
get in
did.
there
He
and
did a
gut it.
really good job. He gutted it himself. He got his hands in there, and I was surprised
That's
because,
good.
like we were saying, the 3 weeks ago we were fishing and he wouldn't touch the carp.
Yeah,
Well, it was a pain in the ass to try to get him to pick that thing up.
he's figuring it out.
Which,
But now he's in there gutting deer, which is awesome. He's also judging deer,
yeah,
using his knowledge just to
passing
figure out.
on deer and
Yeah, turning into an outdoorsman.
what's that?
So that was your second kill of the youth hunt. Now let's hear about the more important
Then we
third
have
kill.
Addison, our 9-year-old. She's so last year she shot her first deer. It was a spike with me, and this year she went out in the evening on Saturday with my dad while I sat with Austin, and it got real close to dark, and a doe and 2 fawns came in. So my dad told her to pick the big one and shoot her, and she had her in her scope, and my dad was like, is it the big one? And she kept saying, yeah, it's huge, it's huge. So she shot, and when she shot, the fawn went down, and she spined it, so my dad had to go down and finish it off because it just laid there and wasn't dead. But it has spots, so I went up to the house and met them, and we went out there, and she didn't really get it at first. She was kind of like real excited about killing a deer, and I didn't want to bring her down off that because I didn't want her to think I was mad at her. But I kind of, I had, when we got out there, I had to have a talk with her and told her, this will be the last time you shoot a deer with spots, hopefully, and talked to her about how we don't do that, and she kind of figured it out at that point that it wasn't okay. And but I mean, we explained it to her that she, Austin shot a button buck last year, and my brother shot one a couple years ago, and it happens to a lot of people, and the only difference between Austin's deer and hers was that it was a buck and hers was a doe, and his was a month older. So a yearling's a yearling. We explained it to her.
Just shedded its spots out.
Yeah, so she didn't feel like she was on an island all by herself.
Yeah, no, I've shot button bucks and had a grown 50-year-old man shoot a button buck with me in camp a couple years ago. So
I've shot button bucks, and I've shot, my first deer was a tiny little fawn I shot in the back of the head with a 410.
Right.
When I was like 6 or 7. Right. So
yeah,
I mean,
it happens.
It is what it is, and that's one of the benefits about the youth hunt is that you get to make mistakes like that, and it's way more forgiving, and that's when the kids get to learn how to become good outdoorsmen. You don't just start saying, okay, the morals of the woods. You learn it from you having that talk with her, and Amanda making her cry a little bit.
Yeah, Amanda made her cry later on that evening. We were skinning it down, and she walked into the barn and she said, "Oh my gosh," and Addison started crying. So I was like, well, I'm glad I'm not the one that made her cry this time. But I did take a picture of her. I did take a picture of her with the deer, and she's got a pretty sour look on her face.
What, again, it's a teaching moment.
Well, at first she was smiling. I go, how about we don't smile about this? And she goes, stop. And I took the picture right then, so.
Like we said, they all look the same when they're skinned out, and that's going to be a tasty little tenderloin in there.
Like
we ate it the next day. We ate some of it the next day, and it was damn good.
Yeah, shooting veal's okay. Pretty much the same thing.
Exactly. You can kill a baby cow that hasn't even ever stood up ever, but it's not okay to shoot a fawn. I mean, I get it. I second that it's not okay to shoot a fawn, but I don't know why morally.
Right, people eat veal.
Right.
My taste buds say
it's one
it's
of those
okay.
things that you decide about. You make that decision.
It's the movie Bambi.
But I mean, it was Aubrey kept calling it Bambi. She kept saying, Addie shot Bambi. She said, I named my deer Lucky and I named Addie's deer Bambi. I said, well, what? Why does your deer have that name? And she said, well, because I shot it. I said, oh, so its name is Lucky because you killed it? She's like, yeah. I said, that's an interesting concept. So,
that works.
But it was successful. It was a really good youth hunt weekend and reminded me about why I love the youth hunt so much and how important it is to get these kids out in the woods, and something that I'll do until my kids are too old to do it, and then hopefully after that I'll find somebody else who has kids who want to go hunting and take them, because I think it's a good time to get them in the woods. The pressure's off. You're not able to hunt, so you're not cutting into your own time at all anyways, and plus if you can get them a deer, now the pressure's off for you to get them a deer, and you can focus on getting yourself something throughout the season and not feel guilty when you're out there by yourself. And I think it's just a good weekend. I'd be pretty upset if they ever got rid of the youth hunt weekend. And like you were saying, we've talked before, Nico, you've talked about some of the rules that you'd like to see change, but
yeah, but getting rid of the youth hunt's definitely not one of them. I'd like to see it altered a little bit. I don't love that kids can hunt from the age of 5 until they're 16. Yeah. But like, at the same token, a little kid that I know who started hunting when he was about 7 and killing bucks, and he's definitely not a new deer hunter by any means at this point. He's 15, but his grandpa, who's wheelchair bound from falling out of a tree stand, is a big time hunter. Doesn't get to hunt with them, during the regular season because it's hard to get his golf cart out there during gun season,
right.
But they got to go out and put a little blinder on their golf cart, and he shot a really nice 8-point, 100-inch whitetail with his grandpa next to him for the first time. He could die any day, he's at that age. Yeah. So, the youth, if it wasn't for the youth hunt, they wouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff. So it's got more perks than cons. I don't care what anybody says. It's a great thing. And I don't think I ever shot a deer in the youth hunt. I went out once or twice, when it was going on, but I'm all about it. Take the kids out. I don't care what anybody says. It's good for them, especially with what we do.
You're creating a generation of hunters too. You're teaching these kids how to hunt, how to manage deer, how to ethically harvest a deer, and especially in Addie's situation.
Killed it.
Ethically kill a deer.
Harvest corn, you kill deer.
And in turn, you are creating a better herd and a better conservation.
Well, yeah, and I think even if your kids, grow up, they're going to hunt throughout their childhood, and then they might stray away from it for a little while. But hopefully, they'll remember that when they get a little older and go back to it and pick up a gun again or a bow and get out there in the woods.
And we didn't talk about this pre zig fuck up, but it just kind of popped in my head, so I'm actually kind of glad we're doing it. What you're doing too is, okay, let's say Addie, and let's say even Austin. He grows up, goes to college, gets a job, doesn't want to hunt anymore. But because he's been exposed to it throughout his whole childhood, they went down there, killed deer. Maybe he doesn't want to hunt. But when he goes to vote, when he turns 18 and he sees maybe a bill on the ballot saying something that improves conservation or something like that, he'll be amped to check that box. That's definitely one-sided political view almost, not benefiting me, but you're helping us as hunters, the population of hunters, even if they don't go out there and buy tags all the time.
Right.
Yeah, you're still locking down that yes vote that we desperately need.
Absolutely locking down a yes vote.
Yeah. No, I agree, 100%.
That's
yeah,
huge.
it's definitely all around. It's a good thing, and that's the big thing that we're doing here with Time's Up. We think it's, we all agree it's so important to get new hunters out there and keep people interested in this thing we're doing, and we're hoping that we can make an impact on it. And I think it's important for us to kind of try to commit to, getting at least one new outdoorsman in the woods, even if it's not a kid, even if it's an adult. We got Gary last year on board. He's a monster hunter now. He's freaking scouting public land all by himself, going and taking kayaks out to Dickinson Island and all these other places. Right now he's up northern Michigan, looking at some public land. And last year was his first time ever picking up a gun and going in the woods. We got a dispatcher from Detroit Fire Department who really wants to, Sean Dorr. I think I'm going to try to get him in the woods this year. QDMA, Michigan QDMA and the BHA, they're teaming up. They got a mentor program thing going on. I think it's October 7th. I'm going to try to make it out there. It's at Waterloo. I want to try to get out there. I'd like to get us involved in that. And I think it's important for us to get involved with these groups and it helps you keep tabs on what's going on in the hunting world. Because, just being out there this weekend with the kids and having such a good weekend and what, the experiences that we had, it makes me scared and also more aware of what might our future look like as hunters if we don't stay involved and stay active and try to keep it going so that it's good for our kids when they get older. And
yeah, we got to make sure we get as many of these kids as we can out there, because, and we've said it before, every new kid that we get out there, 3 or 4 of these old timers that have been hunting their whole lives are dying. And that's just the real reality of the whole thing. Is there's less kids getting involved, so we got to slow the bleeding down on these dropping numbers.
Right.
Pump as many kids into the outdoors as we can, because right now it's a bunch of old white dudes that hunt.
Like Kyle
we got to
Green
do our
always
best
says.
to fix that and keep it going. Yeah, it's Kyle Green's special right there.
Well, and that's too. It's like it's such a good experience for them. It teaches them so many life lessons and responsibility, and I mean, it's just like sports. It's like getting the kids into sports and all of the stuff that sports teaches them that they don't even realize they're learning. They think they're going out there learning how to throw a football, but they're learning how to navigate life and
exactly.
Become an adult, become a man or a woman. And I think hunting really, really does build that kind of character with kids.
I mean, you're making decisions on your own that could be altering to
you're taking a life,
something to your life,
and you're putting food in your freezer that mom and dad go to the grocery store and buy all the food. Well, processed our own. We got 2 deer in the fridge that cost us $8.50. We got I don't know how many pounds of meats in my freezer right now, but it'll last us a long time. That cost us $8. You can't get that much meat for $8 at the supermarket. And the kids are super proud of that. They make mention of that a lot over the weekend, and how proud they are to put it in the freezer, and they can't wait to eat it, and it's super cool.
Yeah. And like we've said, I think the biggest whine that a lot of these people are going to give to the youth hunt is they get mad when somebody shoots a big buck. And they see a 7-year-old standing next to a big deer, and you can get mad about that all they want. That's not the youth's fault. It's nobody's fault. But if I choose to take a kid out for his first deer or her first deer, I'm not going to put that kid out where I know the big buck is patterned.
It's not going to be a 130-inch whitetail.
I'm putting you over the does.
Yeah.
I know where the doe herd is. Yeah. So that's a parental decision, and it doesn't affect anybody but them. Stop acting like because somebody shoots a big buck in Jackson County on their farm that it affects you in northern Michigan.
It doesn't
Get over
at all.
yourself.
And
it's not how
it doesn't.
operates.
I mean, it shouldn't affect you in Jackson County because it's the same. It's hunting. Somebody else could have shot that buck during bow season. You might not have had opportunity at it. And then
what
the guys
happened like you own the deer?
Dads are having their kids go out there and for the youth hunt, they're killing the buck and telling their kid to tell everybody that they shot it. I don't know. I know for a fact that if I went out with my kids, with especially the girls, and shot a buck, there's no way in hell that those girls would ever be able to keep their mouths shut about that. So I really don't think that kind of stuff happens as often as really people say it. You see it online a lot, little comments. And I think people think it happens a lot more than it really does.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people think that kids aren't capable of pulling the trigger, and especially with the little phone scopes that you got and stuff like that now. And a lot of these kids, man, you grow up on a farm. I was more than capable of killing a deer at 7 years old. I know kids that have been killing deer since they were 7 by themselves.
Right.
I was 10 years old in a tree by myself when I shot my first deer with a bow. So, if you grow up around this kind of stuff and you've been shooting since you could hold a shotgun or a BB gun, shooting one of these 450s is nothing.
Yeah,
man.
right, exactly.
Kids rip through rounds now. So
yeah,
so let's not act like a 7 and 6-year-old. Even these 5-year-olds can't pull a crossbow. I mean, come on. It's nothing to pull the trigger. You just got to aim the scope now. You got all these bipods and tripods and stuff that you can set up to where you literally just have to put the scope on it. You don't even have to hold it.
Yep.
And I don't personally really agree with that. I think if you can't hold your weapon, you probably shouldn't be out there hunting yet. But again, that's a parental choice, and if you think that is go for the kid, then hell, go for it.
Yeah, that's how Addie shot hers last year. This year she shot it on her own. And like in Carter and me were talking too, and it kind of like resonated with me this year, especially because of what happened with Addie. His son Ruger is fully capable of shooting through the scope without him looking through the phone scope. But he didn't know if his son would have the scruples to be able to pull the trigger on the right deer had there been multiple deer in a group. Which I learned the hard way with Addison. She obviously wasn't able to do that. She shot the wrong one. So having that phone scope with Aubrey was nice. And it was nice because I had her shoot with and without that phone scope at a target, over the summer, and she was fully capable of doing it either way. But I do think it's until they're old enough to really make that decision or know what, well, so you kind of avoid what happened with Addison, if you have it, because I can see what they're looking at. And it was nice for me to be able to say, okay, you're on. You can pull the trigger now. You got it in the right spot,
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's a great tool, and it helps get these younger kids out there.
Yeah, and now Aubrey's hooked, man. She keeps talking. I can't wait to do it again.
And this is something too that I don't think it's talked about enough. Kids are real impressionable, especially the younger they are, the more of a sponge they are.
Oh yeah.
So if Addie goes and tells her friends that I shot a deer and it was the most fun thing ever, blah blah blah, she might be able to turn one or two friends to go to their dad and be like, I want to do that. And whether or not their dad hunts or not, kind of like Dugan, who I got his first couple of deer, his parents don't hunt, but somebody turned him onto it. And it could have been somebody like Austin who had been doing it a little bit.
Well, it's the same thing with Austin. His parents don't hunt, and when I was first dating Amanda, when I first met them, Amanda told Austin that I was hunting, and he was like, "Oh, I want to learn how to do that." Somebody he knows, one of his cousins or something did it, and it passes on. But like you said, one of his buddy from school, he's mentioned that his buddy from school might want to go out and hunt. I said, we'll take him hunting.
Yeah, I mean, the kids want to be, anything that looks kind of cool to them, they want to try it, whatever it is,
Right.
And if for some reason that can perk their interest because their friend does it and they like their friend, well then, boom, you just got another kid to look into it, or at least maybe not look at it as such a bad thing when the time comes to vote when they're older.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing all the way around. The youth hunt's important.
Yeah, super important.
I'll never be against it.
Awesome. I had a great weekend. It was freaking awesome, and I can't wait for next year's youth hunt.
Yeah, that was way better than our weekend.
But getting off the youth hunt subject a little bit and try to wrap this up, since we've wrapped it up twice already. One kind of big announcement. We're not really going to make an announcement. We're just going to make a little announcement that we got some big stuff coming down the pipeline, and a lot of hard work going into this, and things are going to change a little bit with Time's Up, and we got to thank the Greenway Outdoors guys for the walls that they've been busting down for us, and all the help that they've done and continue to do for Time's Up. And so keep your eyes peeled on what's going to be going on in the future. You might not see a whole lot of our content right off the bat. We're not hiding it. We didn't stop filming. We didn't stop recording it. We're still doing it. We're just going to have to hold on to it a little bit, and we're growing. Time's Up Outdoors is growing, and for the
extremely fast, way faster
than I thought.
We're almost ready for.
So hopefully this works out. This stuff works out. We got some work we got to put in, and things just got real more serious for us, and so that's a good thing. And like I said, thanks to Kyle Green and the other guys at Greenway. Those guys have been freaking awesome since day one.
For sure.
And then another important subject:
big buck contest.
Big buck competition.
Yeah.
Big buck contest. You got 2 weeks. Sign up. So as we were saying, we've got a shitload of prizes to give away.
Tell them the big one.
$25. $25 gets you obviously a chance at half that money that's going into this. But even if you're hunting a 2-acre piece and you all you're going to shoot is does and whatever, that $25 puts you in a drawing for probably what do we say, $2,500 plus worth of prizes that we're going to be giving away throughout the season.
We got
one of the big ones. Our biggest prize is Bruce McMurtry, firefighter.
You get Bruce for a night.
Hooked us
he is
up.
Fine as hell.
He hooked us up with Poor Man's Black Rifle, and they donated a complete upper 450 Bushmaster that'll go on an AR platform, and that's probably about $450. It's got a custom muzzle brake, bolt, everything. It comes with everything.
That's awesome.
I believe it even comes with some magazines. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that is, that's the deer rifle I use. That's what Bruce uses. That's what Mike Hale, the Missouri Assassin, uses. A lot of guys are going to that AR
So
platform.
it's the upper. So it's like the bulk of the.
All you're gonna do is if you have an AR at home, any AR, any 5.56 AR, you just take the upper off of that AR, that 5.56 upper, and slap on that 450, and throw
So
in the
let's say
450
you
magazine.
don't have
and
an
then,
AR at home. So what would you have to? So you're getting this.
You're gonna go buy one now.
all you'd have to do with that AR is buy a lower.
Okay, and the lower. So
well,
you're
which
basically
is
getting.
that's your trigger assembly. That's your everything. That's your buffer
Right.
spring and your everything that your magazine well, all that stuff. That's what you are going to actually have to register as a
Right.
firearm.
Yeah,
The upper is not a firearm. The upper is considered an accessory.
Right. Cool.
there's more money in the upper than the lower.
Yeah, definitely more money.
So you're getting the bulk of a gun build out of the way with that prize there.
You're getting
kick-ass
90% of a
custom
450 AR
Right.
for
Which
free,
is
for $25.
which is a gun that, I mean, it's fairly popular. If you don't know what that is at this point, a lot of Michigan deer hunters that hunt below the rifle line, you can use this because it's a straight wall cartridge, correct? And
Yeah.
it'll accurately take down a deer. They say at 300 yards.
I've taken deer. We do a call every year at a location, and they want a bunch of doe antlerless deer taken out. I've taken deer on this piece of property at 300 yards plus.
Yeah. I took my 9-point last year at 242 yards, and
yep.
you know, it's a good gun to have out in the deer woods here in Michigan. So we got.
It's got to be the
What's
second
that?
most popular gun in the woods right now. It's probably the second most popular Michigan deer gun right now.
for
Has
sure.
to be.
Behind the old
Between
school
that-
12 gauge.
Behind that, the 12 gauge and a 308.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that
sweet
we got
gun.
that. We got scent lock gear. We got easy cut gear. We got the hunting public sent us some of their swag. We got some.
Huge easy cut
Yeah.
gear too, man. That easy cut gear that's $500 worth of easy
Yeah.
cut stuff we're giving away.
Mark Kenyon supposedly sending us some Yeti mugs with his logo on there, but we haven't gotten them yet. So we're waiting on that.
Come on, Mark.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff coming. Like I said, you don't even gotta kill a buck to win these prizes. The only thing you have to kill a buck for is to be entered to win the grand prize, and you know, obviously the biggest one is going to win it. But other than that, these other prizes are going to just be drawings for anybody who's entered into the contest, and it'll go all through deer season. We got some cool prizes, man, and probably more to come. You know, as we go through the season, I'm sure we might get other stuff donated. So you never know; things might get thrown our way, and it's a pretty cool. Not only that, but you're donating to the Detroit Firemen's Benevolent Fund, which they do. They take care of guys who've been severely injured, like career-ending injuries on the job. They take care of them financially, and they help take care of the families and wives and kids of guys who die in the line of duty. They have a funeral rig that makes it goes to firemen's funerals and makes it a little bit more special for their families. They got all kinds of different community outreach programs that they do. I think they support a hockey team, a youth hockey team down in Southwest Detroit. The fund does a lot to give back, and they take care of us. And it's something that we all pay into every paycheck. Pretty much every fireman on the job, minus a few, throws, I think it's $25 a month, or maybe a pay comes out of our checks every paycheck. And I don't remember what it is. You just kind of sign up for it when you get hired on and forget about it. And then that goes towards the fund. So yeah, so part of the proceeds are going to go to that. So you're donating to a good cause. You got a chance to win a huge prize, cash prize.
Shit.
Right now it's at $500, around 500. So that's your mount right there. If you win, you shoot a big old buck, and you're not paying for a mount anymore because you got that grand prize money.
Steve, donate.
Yeah, Steve, and then a giveaway too. We got another taxidermist, Steve Zanin, is from Scales and Tails Taxidermy is giving away 10% off amount too, which is a pretty good chunk of money.
There you go. So you're
Talk
not
about that
only
much,
having the
so.
money to pay for it, but he's also giving away 10% off of amount. So, so yeah, that's that. Just sign up. It's really easy. The link's in our bio on Instagram. We'll post some more on our Facebook page. You can shoot us a message.
on our
We'll give
website,
you the
too.
link. It's easy. Click on the link. You go. There's a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you sign up. We'll send you a sticker. You put your address in there. We'll give you a little commemorative sticker. You can slap on your bow case or your fridge or your lunchbox or whatever, your wife's face, your baby's face.
Or
I don't care
titties.
where you put it.
Well, don't slap it on your
Yeah,
wife's
just
face.
Yeah,
put
slap it on
her
her titties,
gently.
though.
Slap it on her ass.
Yeah.
You got to click the donate button. That's what throws
Yeah,
people
I
off.
know.
Donate is where you pay. Click
Yeah, click
donate.
the donate button.
It's
It's the way
okay.
we set it up on our website, the PayPal thing. It gave us a donate button. We're not too savvy with the internet website crap, so
And that's being all revamped here soon
Yeah.
with our restructuring.
yeah, with the restructuring of Times of Outdoors, we got a couple new cameras in the works. We just bought some badass new cameras, so yeah, we're gonna be
New and
pumping out
improved
some cool
logo in the
content
works.
here, and deer season's coming up. And one thing, next 2 weeks on September 30th will be our next podcast. We're gonna be
That is our 1 year anniversary of being together as a official Times Up Outdoors.
Yeah, we're going to try to do a live podcast. We're definitely doing a podcast from deer camp, but we're going to try to do a live. So we'll see. We'll keep everybody posted on that if we can figure that all out. Like I said, we're new. We're learning. Hang with us. Things are getting real good. That's it, man. You guys got anything else to say?
No, wait, man. Can't wait till bow season gets here. Shoot a couple geese in the meantime.
It's almost here.
I'm super discouraged about this Missouri trip, and but we're gonna go back, get after it in November.
We got
I think,
Deer Hunter Podcast. Kevin Visson just asked us if we wanted to jump on for a 5-minute conversation this week for plugging the big buck contest. So hopefully that gives us some more contestants. So that'll be cool.
Sign up. Tell your friends.
Yeah, I guess they gave us a shout out on East Coast Bow Hunter too. Check them guys out. They got a pretty cool podcast. Somebody sent us a message yesterday saying they were talking about us. I haven't had a chance to listen to the episode yet.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, man. All right, that's it. All right. Hey, hopefully this recorded. All right.
My GoPro died.
All right, dumbass. Fuck.
See ya.
Bye.